Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about brows. I've gotten so many comments about how do I fill in my brows, where's the best place to fill them in, what products to use. So today we're going to be talking all about brows and how to shape them for your face. So if you want to hear more about that, stay tuned. All right, you guys, so brows are the topic of today. Now, I have to start this out by saying, this has been, since I've been on YouTube, one of those things that every single time I do any video, there's at least a couple not nice comments about how pointy my brows are, how dark they are, pretty mean stuff. And I usually try to ignore them, and I really appreciate the people that have commented back to those people and just said, you know, really nice things, and I appreciate it, and I really appreciate the support. So if you don't like my brows, or you don't like how I do them, or anything like that, then I would suggest that you move on to another video. So for me, my brows, so I don't get Botox anymore. You know that, I've talked about it a couple times. I am uneven. So this brow is stronger than this brow. And that's the reason why I did Botox in the first place, because I was trying to strengthen this muscle over here and weaken this muscle over here so they're a little bit more even. This one grows a little bit higher than this one. I do get my brows shaped every 4 weeks, which I think is one of the things I will start out by saying. Even if you have peach fuzz, even if you have hardly any hair, go and get them shaped. I do it every 4 weeks. And the reason being is because if you go to someone great, they really know how to shape them for your face, and it'll allow you to be able to shape your brows a lot more easily. I really am one of those that, you know, they take off a couple here. I have to get them done in a little bit, but they take off a couple here, so this is more even, but then this is shorter, and I am using that Revita brow, and it has helped them grow in. But let's be honest, if your brows aren't going to grow, they're not going to grow. So in my opinion, underneath here is not really going to grow anymore. Over here is not really going to grow anymore. So I am stuck with just what I am stuck with, and I make the best out of it. So how you start. First of all, go get your brows shaped. It will really help you out. Promise. I promise. I promise. Leave them large. Don't ask them to go super thin. Just ask them to clean them up. If you use the words clean them up, they won't take away your natural shape. Okay, so then when we're looking for where our brows should start, where the arch should be, and where they should end, it's a pretty standard technique that we all use in the industry. You take a pencil, pen, a brush, eyebrow pencil, whatever it is. You're going to lay it on the side of your nose. And where this straight line is, goes up to your brow. This is where your brow should start. Okay? And I usually, when I started doing this, I would make a mark here. So make a mark. Then you take the same brush or same pencil and lay the pencil along the side of the nose and go right over your pupil, the dark part of your eye. And this is where your arch should be. Make a mark. Lay it again on the side of your nose and go right along your bottom lash line where that would end and where that would continue. And this is where your brows should end, okay? So after you've made those marks, 1, 2, 3, you'll notice where they either fall short or they go over or etc. So if you're plucking them, that will give you a great place to pluck and start to manicure yourself. Just a last tip is my brows are dark, so I like to use a lighter pencil and a darker pencil to just create density and shape, but also not be overly drawn. I have tried to lighten my brows and it just looks horrible. I like my brows being darker and my hair being lighter. That's what's great about makeup. That's what's great about personal choices. So I like it. So when you have those marks drawn, I like to brush the hairs of the brows down. Okay? Reason being is, and you're going to bring your head down when you're looking in the mirror. Reason being is because when you brush your hairs down, you can see where the natural curve of your brow is supposed to be. And I'm going to tell you, even if you don't have a ton of hair on your brow, it will show. You have to look real close, but you can see where your brow is actually supposed to be laid out. And what I do is I actually start at the arch first. I'm using a pencil. This is by Dior. This is, I think, their Universal Brow Pencil. That's what it's called, 001. And it's a lighter colored pencil. And basically, I work in short strokes. Do you see the short strokes I'm doing? I wish I could actually do this on each one of your guys' faces so you could see the pressure that I'm using on my brow. A lot of you guys will start with too much pressure. Make sure that you are just using these little dashing motions and these back and forth motions to start to create that shape. If you push too hard, you will get way too much color payoff and it will kind of start to be a mess. If you do, take your spoolie and brush it through. Your spoolie is going to be your best friend for diffusing and lightening product up. All right, so again, just want to brush them down to complete, and brushing and going to complete the tail, and you're going to connect the mark wherever you drew it to where your brow is supposed to end. For me, this brow is way more pointy, as everyone likes to point out, and so I do try my best to kind of make this a little bit more round. So it kind of does have a little bit more of a rounding arch so I don't look so angry. All right, so once that's done, I like to just kind of brush through. And the reason why I start on the tail is because most people have a lot more hair up front, and if you fill in the up front a little bit less, it will look more natural. And then I am going to take underneath the brow and fill in where I am missing to thicken up the brows. All right, so that is one brow kind of done on the tail here. Now to do the front, I kind of like them to stand up in front. We will do that with a little bit of brow gel, but if you need this to be filled in, use strokes going upwards right here to mimic hair. That's why I like to use a pencil. I like to use a retractable pencil because usually pencils that are like, they look like actual pencils, they're going to be too thick. And you can't really sharpen them to be that exact point to really draw on hair-like strokes. I like to draw strokes going down on the top, and right here I like to draw strokes going across and up. All right, so that is basically one brow kind of filled in to where I normally would fill it in with a pencil. You can see the difference between the two brows. I do want to talk about product usage. So it's funny that I grabbed the Dior Universal because I usually use Precisely number 3 by Benefit. Their products are amazing. Benefit's products for brows are something that you definitely should go into your nearest store and try out. They have a great formula, different formulas for sure. They have a pencil like this. They also have a pencil called Goof Proof, which is meant to stick onto the hair and the skin, and that's for people that need a little bit more coverage, that don't have as much hair. And then they also have a pomade, just like your pomade from Anastasia. And usually when you use a pomade, now this is just my opinion, you can form your own, but when you're using a pomade, you are going for a very dramatic effect. Or if you do not have brows at all, that's probably what you'll be going for because you want a little bit more of a solid look. But if somebody has brows like me where there is quite a bit of hair, you're just looking for a little bit of definition and shape, your best friend is going to be a pencil. I do, however, use an angled brush. If you are new to brows, I would suggest getting a very, very fine angled brush. This one is by Boho Tools. This one I think I got in the drugstore, but it's a very fine angled brush. I'm just using my Becca palette. This is the Ombre Nude Eyes palette, and I like these because they're matte. So when you're using a brown shadow, you can obviously get a brow shadow, but eyeshadows work great too. Just make sure they're matte. I am using this second color right here, and I do like to kind of fill in ever so slightly where I need more hair-ish and kind of set that powder. Again, if you are newer to brows, using a brow powder might be kind of a nice place to start for you, because you can just brush through these brows and it will really soften your look. But brows are really all about experimentation and practice. I know a lot of you guys are like, I can't fill in my brows, blah, blah, blah. But it's really about practice and really about trying out different products that work for you. So go into Ulta or Sephora or wherever and try out all those products on yourself and see what works best for you. All right, so let's do the other eye. Now on this eye, I have to actually draw up a little bit higher to match my other brow. And you'll find that some of your brows, one or the other, doesn't need as much filling in as the other, and that's what this guy is. This guy usually is my best brow. Do you see how much easier that brow is? And I actually have a tendency to raise my brows to make sure that they're even when I raise them. Now, again, if you think my brows are too dark, I'm sorry, I just don't care. I like them this way. I think that they frame the face really nicely. So you do you. You figure out what you really like with your brows, how you like your face to look, and it will all be okay. It's just makeup. It washes off, and I don't want to see any comments about it. All right, so to finish up the look, you definitely could just you know, put a little brow gel on and call it a day. You definitely don't have to use eyebrow gel, but it helps to set the makeup that you've already put on your brows and make sure that it lasts all day. But I like to, every now and again, I don't do this every day, but I'm going to take my Nars matte. You don't want to use a luminous. You want to use something that's matte. My Nars concealer in vanilla, and I will go a little bit above the brow, just ever so slightly, just to clean everything up with a little synthetic brush. This is by Makeup Forever, this brush is, and it's 230. I love this brush. Just to clean it up and make it really precise. Again, this you don't have to do. I also will do ever so slightly right underneath the brow. And this is when I'm, you know, I really have the time to, you know, take care of what I'm doing, and I have time to get ready and all of that stuff. I don't do this every day, but I definitely do it when I have time. And this just, what this does is it just cleans up the edges of what you've just worked on and make everything look a little bit cleaner. And you don't need to get carried away with this step. You don't need to use a ton of product. All right, and to be honest with you, I can't find my eyebrow gel. I don't know where it is. I usually use the eyebrow gel from Benefit. I feel like it holds the brows a little bit better, and it's not as stiff as the Anastasia one is. So if you have some hairspray and you have your little spoolie, just a touch, tiny bit of spray, and then you just push up the brows and put it into place. So I hope you guys learned something from this, and if there's any comments or questions, comment below. I'd be happy to help you and answer all your questions below. But I hope this helped you find out and define your eyebrow shape and some different products that you can use, and my recommendations. So lots of love from me to you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah! Bye, you guys.